think it's joking, but I'm not joking. This is a warning. Seriously, because maybe 90% of you, if not more, somewhere between 90 and 100% of you in this room are programmed. And we're going to talk about that between now and Sunday in various formats. That's why you're attracted to this class. Maybe that's why you were attracted to me in the first place. But almost all of you in this room have some form of programming, whether it was specific or general. And we'll talk about that during the evening and day tomorrow as well. The reason I have a warning up there is because I have to warn you that somewhere between Friday and Saturday, it's a possibility, maybe a likelihood, that I might say a word or a phrase or put something on the blackboard or show something to you, or someone else in the room might discuss something that could trigger you or that could set off an activation of a program within you. And I need you to be aware of that. Now, during the course of the weekend, you will learn certain techniques on self-deprogramming. And there's a difference between programming and deprogramming. Tonight we're just going to learn the history and get into that, because you need to know the background. If at any time any of you feel like you're being activated, remember to balance yourself, to ground yourself. Most of you have studied some of the work and have been with me before. In fact, I think just about all of you know how to use these techniques, the color brown, grounding, etc. If you feel that you cannot control an activation or that you feel you're getting set off in any way, please speak to me privately, or you can see Edith, and she will help you as best she can with what she can do for you. I would advise you to take very good notes. You're allowed to tape record if you wish. But I really am serious about the warning. I don't know what's in your programming. It could be one of a billion trillion things. You should also be aware that you're being triggered just about every day and every moment of every day. Every time you listen to the news or watch television or simply walking in the street or driving in your car, you're being bombarded now daily with ELF pulses, which we'll discuss, and microwave and subliminals, all of which we're going to discuss. I have a lot of material to get through, and I have to admit to you that preparing for this weekend was very difficult for me. As far as I know, there isn't any programming, mind control, deprogramming classes being given out there, at least not in the format that I'm going to be giving it to you. The gods are angry. And so, please bear with me, because I spent a lot of time going through all of my notes and all of my experiences and my research and the things that I know, and writing them down as best that I can in detail. And so the writing on my pages are very small and compact. And since I've never done this before publicly, I may very frequently have to look at something, and I might even lose my place for a moment. So please just bear with me on that. I will get through as much as I possibly can. Okay. Now, we need to keep today's time within the boundaries and constraints of the time. And after my time of giving today's lecture is over, I will open up to question and answer period. So your questions will be answered. Also limited time after that as best as possible. I know there's a lot of current event situations that many of you want to know about. Much of that may be covered in understanding when I go through the mind control and programming information. So please be patient. And certainly, if you have a question pertinent to the specific information I'm speaking about at the moment, then ask. But if it's not exactly pertinent, please wait till after today's session and I'll answer it afterwards, okay? Thank you. And so I took this very seriously when I put it up here. And you know what? That in itself might have triggered somebody. Even that word in the color that I used. So, what is mind control? Let's work with that first. What is mind control? And what is the difference between mind control and programming? Are they the same thing or are they two different things? Who knows? What ideas do you have? Anybody?
No, I think they're very similar. Programming, I could see on one level can be just a cultural programming. Growing up in a culture, growing up in a family, religion, that's all forms of programming. Everything just needs your day. To me, mind control would then be a deliberate programming done by someone for the purposes of altering their consciousness to their purposes.
All right. What I wrote down here was that mind control is the ability of a person or thing to have manipulative ability over another. And that doesn't mean it's artificial or natural. It could be either way. So it's the ability of a person or thing to have manipulative power over another. That's mind control. Anyone need me to repeat that again? Okay. Now what is programming? Programming is the imprinting and compartmentalization of a person's thought process or mind pattern for specific purposes. I'll repeat that. Programming is the imprinting and compartmentalization of a person's thought process or mind pattern for specific purposes. Both mind control and programming are lifelong processes. In other words, it's not that you have a session or two and you're done. It's over the course of a lifetime. And the details of that we'll get into tomorrow. You should also be aware that in both programming and in mind pattern, or mind control, it is the number 3 is very important. And if you remember... Now, I have to tell you something, how appropriate the storm is.
Yes.
Because do you remember this archetype from Language of Hyperspace? The lightning bolt? It's activation. So I really couldn't have arranged it better myself. Maybe I did arrange it myself, I don't know. But that is the mind pattern or archetype of activation. The use of the number 3. When somebody tells you something 3 times in a row, it sinks in. That's why if you watch television, you'll see that same commercial 3 times in about a 4-minute period before the show comes back on. And you'll say, why are they showing this again? It was just on. It's 3 times imprints on you. That's mind control. And that leads me into the history of mind control and programming. How long do you think mind control and programming have been occurring on this planet? Since day 0. And it existed before any civilization on this planet existed. We're going to get to that. The question, what was the purpose? The purpose of mind control and programming, why do you think? Now, those of you who studied with me before, and most of you have, and know about galactic history and DNA, what type of beings were most involved in controlling and manipulation?